Niners fans, it's about that time. 7:30 on a Monday night. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And once again, it is always a pleasure to be on with the best fans in the NFL, the faithful, the Niner Empire. Always a pleasure to be on with you guys and gals. Thanks for tuning in to the stream tonight. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to Jay in the Bay. I do have a special guest with me tonight. Most of you probably already know him. I mean, how could you not know the gentleman I'm getting ready to bring on? His channel is continuing to, how I love to say, level up. I'm trying to get on his level. Let's be real. I'm trying to get on his level. But let's say what's up to the people in the chat first. SG Sports Talk channel. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream. Titan Sam. What's good? Hey, you guys had a big win on Sunday night against the LA Rams, man. J.R. Meadows, who always gives me his opinion no matter what. He don't sugarcoat nothing. What's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, J.R. Meadows. Now let's bring in another YouTube content creator. He talks about the 49ers, the faithful, the Niner Empire. Let's bring in 49ers First Takes. What's good? How you doing, man?
Pretty good. I mean, this is my second stream tonight. It was on Rob Shu's channel, and now I'm on your channel. So It's been a good day for me. This is a good cathartic way to get over yesterday's embarrassment. Definitely.
Absolutely. And Rob Shu, his channel is growing. I believe he just reached 1,000 subscribers. So hey, that's a good look.
Yep.
On his channel.
He just got monetized too. He's getting his first super chats tonight. He was super happy.
Nice.
I was so happy for him.
Exciting. That's always exciting, getting money for something you do, something that's your passion. But for those, exactly. But for those that don't know you, 49ers First Takes, tell the people what you're all about and what can people expect from your YouTube channel.
Sure. I actually just was on when I was on Rob's. I did answer the same question. I'm kind of a mix of a couple different things. I like to do the collaborative streams, like with you and other guys or gals who are 49 related. Sometimes even not. It could be other teams. I did a NFC West roundtable in the off season. I do updates just like you, me, and everybody else. We do, breaking news as much as possible. A lot of us have work schedules outside of YouTube, so sometimes we don't get on, but that's why the other channels are there. We all are there for the same reasons. So, collaborative streams, streams where it's just me. I like to post like podcast clips or videos of Niners beat writers or, TV analysts who talk all that kind of stuff. So anything Niner related, it's on my channel. I recently made some merch. I'm trying the merch game out here. So if you guys go over to my Instagram, it's on my link tree. You don't have to buy anything, but just look at it. If you think it's cheesy, that's all right. I might have another design coming soon. So yeah, YouTube is definitely my kind of like my cathartic way of decompressing from work and from the Niners' pathetic season so far.
No, absolutely. And make sure if you haven't subscribed to 49ers First Takes, make sure you do that. All his social media info is in the links of this video, IG, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you check him out. But yeah, let's dive right into it. First, shout out to everyone watching Jay in the Bay Facebook, Jay in the Bay YouTube, and Jay in the Bay Twitter. Shout out to you guys for watching. I appreciate your continued support. And make sure you're in the chats. We will read some comments tonight. And that's what this show is all about, the fan interaction. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the 49ers. And I would say embarrassing loss at home against the Arizona Cardinals. And mind you, they're without their starting quarterback, 2 of their starting receivers. I believe 3 of their coaches were out as well. And we got beat by Colt McCoy and James Conner. I mean, he looked like Eric Dickerson in his prime. I mean, what were your thoughts on the game? First thoughts.
Um, there was part of me that was worried about a letdown before the game. Be honest with you, like I said, I was in Rob's stream and I said them the same thing. I had this feeling like, man, the Niners are going to let their guard down because this team is without their top guys. But I'm thinking, yeah, if that happens, the Niners will still find a way to win this game. It's at home. They got Kittle coming back. And man, was I wrong. They came out, they looked flat, they looked listless, they looked disengaged, going through the motions. Anything that you can say that comes across as a team that just did look like they didn't want to be there. Honestly, they just looked flat. And pretty sad that this is year 5. This is a make or break season for some people, and they came out like they didn't care. And it's sad. I know they care, but they look like they didn't care.
Yeah. No, I would agree with all that. And it's possible. Maybe the 49ers, at least defense, thought, hey, we don't have to play a game with Kyler Murray. They're without DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe they thought the game would be easier. They thought they would have to just show up and the Cardinals would lay down. And clearly that's not what happened. And it was definitely a disappointing performance. One of the things that was one of the things it's hard to watch is a team just beat itself. It's like with the turnovers, yeah, the defenders, they made some heady plays, but you have to protect the ball. And it's just very frustrating to watch a team just go out there and beat themselves. You're not even giving yourself a chance to win the game, to produce. And at this point in the season, we're not good enough to turn the ball over multiple times in the game and still expect to win. And it's just very, 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 very frustrating. I know everyone wants to say, hey, fire Kyle Shanahan, but I just don't think that's going to happen. But what are your thoughts on that? Let's get right into it. What are your thoughts? Do you think Shanahan deserves to be fired now? Do you think he'll last the season, or do you think he'll get fired in the offseason? What do you think?
I think if they completely lose out or win one more game, anything's on the table, even with that contract. I mean, let's be real, dude. If they just tank out and they lose, what do they got? 4 wins right now? Yeah. They go 5-11, 6-10. Something's going to happen. Heads have to roll in some capacity. It might not be Kyle, but it could be John. It could be John and D'Amico. It could be John D'Amico and the training staff. It could be a lot of things. And all of it is justified. As much as people hate Jed and the stuff that he's done in the past with Harbaugh and just the poor coaching hires and all that, he has a right to do what's right for the fans, the faithful, like you say in your intro, the Niner Empire. That's what's most important. Those people that pay those tickets, they pay their hard-earned money to go see a good product, and they haven't been getting it more than one season in 4.5 years. So anything should be on the table. I don't necessarily think it's Kyle's head, but if John Lynch was fired after this season and Kyle was stripped of some capacity of power, I would not be shocked. Everything should be on the table. Nobody should be safe. Like I said, it's probably not going to be Kyle, but we could be wrong, Jay. You never know. Jed could just be like, you know what? I'm blowing this whole thing up. But if you're going to move on from Kyle, you better have a better solution. You can't take a step back and you can't take a lateral step. So, I think if anything, there'll be some heads rolling in some capacity, but I just don't think it, like you said, I don't think it'd be Kyle, but we could be wrong.
I gotta say to Niner Sickness, what's good? Niner Sickness says fire John Lynch, hire a better GM, and take away some of that responsibility away from Kyle.
100% agree. 100%. No doubt. Me and him are on the same wavelength.
I'm not sold on firing Lynch. I'm not sold on that yet. I think Lynch has done a decent job with drafting talent. I know his first rounds the last few years, especially his first go around with the draft. Reuben Foster, Solomon Thomas were disasters, but I do believe the draft is a crapshoot. Every GM has some hits or misses, and I'm willing to give John Lynch another opportunity, especially since he did sign an contract extension. And owners, they don't want to just set their money on fire, and that's basically what they would be doing if they were let go.
Agreed.
But Shanahan, I think he just needs to focus on coaching the team. Creating plays, play calling, that's fine, but he doesn't need to be anywhere near player personnel. I think I don't know what it is, if it's just too much responsibility, and that's fine. If it's too much responsibility, that's fine. Let someone else do it. Lynch, I think Adam Peters, let them handle it, but I don't think Shanahan should be anywhere near the player personnel department. He just needs to coach the team. And also, I think we need to get a coach, assistant, whatever, to help Kyle Shanahan with, clock management and things like that. When to go for a 2-point conversion, just small things like that. When to challenge a play. I think he needs help, and that's fine. I think the saving grace for Shanahan, at least this year, will be, hey, we want to see what he can do with Trey Lance, right? That's Shanahan is supposed to be an offensive genius. We want to see what he can do with Trey Lance. And he guided us to the Super Bowl. I don't think that should just be thrown out the window. I know it's not 2019 anymore. I know it's 2 years ago. And he also signed a contract extension. So I think he's got a few things in his favor, but I definitely think there needs to be structural changes going forward. Absolutely.
What would bode well for John Lynch is if rookies got to play this year. Number one, Trey, and let's see the other Trey. Let's see Aaron Banks. Let's see Jalen Moore. If we see a Diamador Lenore, Ambry, I mean, if the season becomes lost, but we have something to build on the future with, then I think John Lynch will earn himself at least another crack at it. This will be an important offseason for him without a first-round pick. The Niners might have a little money to play with without Jimmy's contract, and if they move on from other contracts, I don't see them bringing back Jaquiski Tart. I just don't see it. Niners have to start to shed themselves of some of these players that they have that get hurt a lot. Maybe keep one of them, but there has to be not exactly wholesale changes, but things have to be definitely messed with because the current way of doing things just ain't working. And but if it would bode well for him if these rookies get on the field sooner than later, for sure.
Absolutely. And J.R. Meadows says Shanny is the reason. And a lot of people,
words.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people would agree with you. And it's easy to blame the coaches, very easy, but I think we need to hold the players accountable as well. There's no doubt Shanny deserves some blame, but Shanny's not out there getting into an argument with the other head coach. Shanny's not out there fumbling the ball. Shanny's not out there throwing high to receivers. That has nothing to do with Shanny. So he deserves some blame, but we got to hold the players accountable as well. I gotta say, John, what's good? He says they Rick James us. Came into our house.
Yes, they did.
That's crazy.
That's probably one of the best Chappelle episodes ever.
That was. JR Meadows says we are going 3-15. Let me know how you really feel, JR.
Oh man, like I said, he ain't missing words. He's just going straight for the gusto.
Yeah. I think it's hard to play the schedule game right now because we don't know which 49er team we're going to get on Sunday. But there are some winnable games on the schedule. But I think we will win more than 3 games. I have heard a lot of 49er fans say this recently. Niner Sickness says my season tickets went up in price, but the product that we're getting went down. Yeah. That is a tough, very tough pill to swallow. Now let's talk about the game itself. was there an easier game on the schedule for the 49ers? I mean, we heard right before kickoff, hey, Kyler's out, AJ Green's out, D Hop is out. And we just, like you said, we came out flat. And
Again,
I don't understand why. We're not 6-1, we're not 6-2. We are a struggling team. And it just, yeah, I don't understand the inconsistentness with this team. I don't get it.
yeah, there's a there. What really got me, or really made me mad, was this big, the big brouhaha. Kittle's back, boom, and he fumbles his first catch. I hit until Kittle can stay healthy and perform at a consistent rate. He will now be called Mr. Glass. That's my new nickname for Kittle. He's Mr. Glass. You guys, I've put it on Twitter. I'm mad. Like, you come back, that's your first thing that you do coming off IR with all the whatever pomp and circumstance that you have, which you're the way you are. And I love Kittle as a player, but he's starting to kind of get under my skin, man. He doesn't play enough. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And then he gets on the field and he puts it on the rug the first time he gets it. It's just like, everybody just needs to concentrate on football. Stop talking about everything else. Stop posting about everything else. Get your freaking ducks in a row and start winning some games. Yeah, I was hot. And then the one with Ayuk, the fumble on that one. Oh my God. Do these guys not think that someone's not going to come up from behind them and punch the ball out? They carry the ball so loosely. It's like stuff you learn in Pop Warner football. You know what I mean? It's just like you said, you can't come out like you're 6-1, man. You got to come out like you haven't won a game all year. You know what I mean? It just the Niners. I don't know, man. It's hard to articulate what I really feel because I got 10,000 feelings going on in my brain.
Yeah, it's just been a very disappointing year. It's been a lot of downs, a few ups. Some would say, hey, we were 37 seconds away from being 3-0. Someone could have that half empty, half full concept or whatever. But it's just been a very disappointing year. And I feel like the 49ers have beat themselves a lot. Just with the turnovers. And that's something else I was going to talk about. Just being an undisciplined team.
Yes.
We're not good enough to, turn the ball over as we did 3 times in the game and expect to beat, even though the Cardinals aren't, they were without Kyler Murray, D Hop, AJ Green, whatever, but they still had James Conner and their top running back, Edmonds, was hurt on the first series. So it's, it was very disappointing to see. And we have to talk about the 49ers defense. Now, do you think a lot of people were saying, oh, we should have kept Robert Saleh, but obviously Robert Saleh was up for a head coaching opportunity. He's going to take that opportunity. But a lot of people in his fan base wanted Saleh fired. Let's be real. He struggled in the beginning.
I was one of them.
So I don't think we should pull the plug on DeMeco Ryans because he did hold this same Cardinals team, or you could argue a better Cardinals team, to only 17 points. It's funny. The NFL season is it's week to week. 1 week you're on top. The next week, hey, fire him, fire everyone. But that's not how you can't make decisions like that. And what were your thoughts on the defense, how it performed, on Sunday?
I'm going to tell you, I'm not a big fan of the wide 9 concept. I really not. I feel like it is susceptible to get gassed in the run game. I feel like the Niners don't have the way that they play defense, and they have guys playing out of position. DJ Jones should be a nose tackle, not a 4-3 defensive tackle. They don't anchor well. They get pushed around. Armstead inside is a joke because he's so tall and his pad level is so bad. He's a good player. He played well against the pass a couple times, but run defense, I think even Buckner had issues with that for a while. Tall guys, 6'7" guys at defensive tackle, they can get moves side to side. I just think they don't anchor well. I think Fred Warner and Elsa Aziz Al-Shaair played pretty bad yesterday.
Yeah.
They look pretty bad. And I will say, we miss, as much as they get hurt all the time, Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward in the run game are pretty damn good. So there was a couple different reasons why. I thought D'Amico had one of his worst games defensive calling that he's had. I didn't see a lot of adjustments. So everybody had a piece of the pie as far as the failure yesterday. It wasn't just D'Amico. It wasn't just, the defensive line. It was everybody. It was a full sail failure all around.
Yeah, I would agree. And one play that stands out on defense for me was, I believe it was a 3rd and 18. I think it was the second quarter. And the Cardinals were on offense. And Colt McCoy throws a pass to James Conner. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, we make this tackle. I mean, it's 18 yards to get a first down. We make this tackle. The Cards punt the ball. The 49ers are on offense again. Shahir missed a tackle. And, basically, I think the Cardinals scored a field goal on that drive, I believe. And I think that was the same drive that Armstead had that sack that was called a penalty. I thought it wasn't a penalty, but, it was too close of a call. But plays like that, they really we can't afford to make those plays and still, have a chance in the game. And I thought that was a huge defensive play to miss. And yeah, he had a bad game. People are saying Fred Warner is having a bad game, or he's having a bad season so far. Honestly, maybe I need to watch the games again. Maybe I need to watch the all 22, but I haven't really seen it. Is he out there making plays? He is around the ball a lot. But I think we're just getting gashed, especially on the early downs, especially in running plays, we're just getting gashed. And I don't know if that's the lack of the D line, not getting enough pass rush, and the offensive linemen are getting up to the linebacker level, and the linebackers aren't able to get off the blocks. I'm not sure what that is, but all year we've just been terrible, against the run. And that's been one of this defense's weaknesses. We actually are a top 3 passing defense. I don't, that
whatever,
stats don't lie, but yeah, that is weird. And it was just, and also, we got to talk about Josh Norman. Why are you taunting?
Idiot.
Why are you taunting? We are down 14-0. What could you possibly be saying to the other team?
Yeah, like, why are you taunting? Why is Armstead celebrating sacks? Like, what, dude? Like, what's with this team? They're like mental. The way that, like, dude, I don't know if you paid attention to that. What were you down? Like 2 scores, 3 scores, and Armstead's doing the belly rub. I'm like, really, dude? Really? Seriously? And then you have idiot get into it with a coach on the sideline, negating. I forgot exactly what happened, what it negated.
I believe that was that before the Armstead sack or after? I think it might have been after the sack.
Because I know Kyle Shanahan lost his freaking crap. Yeah. I think it was that was on the sack, but yeah.
Yeah, that was on the sack. He's a veteran. He can't make plays like that.
Better.
He should know better. Exactly. I would expect a rookie to, get heated and make that mistake. But, and part of the reason why the defense is so bad is look who we have playing that corner. We have guys, Josh Norman and Drake Kirkpatrick, who weren't on teams. And Drake Kirkpatrick, hey, he got ran over. At least he tried to attempt to make a tackle, but he definitely he got ran over. But that's part of the reason why the defense is bad. Not to mention, you mentioned Jimmy Ward, Jaquiski Tartt were out as well. Tavon Wilson was in there along with Hufanga. Hufanga got beat on one play by Christian Kirk. I don't know if that was his man but he was in his zone, and Christian Kirk ran right past him. But that was an issue with Hufanga coming out of the draft. He's not fast. He's more of a box safety. But yeah, everyone, that was a bad day on defense, I think, for the 49ers. I don't think that was their best game, obviously, because this is the same defense that only allowed 17 points to the Cardinals.
Right. Arizona. That's the thing that doesn't make any sense. You have lesser players, yet you're doing worse. That to me right there, Jay, is a team that let their guard down. Straight up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, you made James Conner look like the second coming of Eric Dickerson or,
Yeah.
Walter Payton. Like, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I will say, man, if I was Drake or Patrick and I got ran over like that, I'm quitting football. Like I'm gonna retire at halftime like Vernon Davis's brother did.
Everyone gets ran over. Everyone gets ran over one time on the football field, you know.
Hey, Ronnie Lott got dragged by Mark Bavaro in the 1990 season.
Happens to everyone.
They couldn't take Mark Bavaro down. He dragged Ronnie Lott and a whole defense across the field. So, and Ronnie to me is my, like, if Joe's 1, Ronnie's and Jerry's 2, like Ronnie's right there. But yeah, you're right. Everybody gets posterized at some point.
Yeah. And Jesus says, "Saludos, season over." Tell me how you really feel, Jesus.
I can't blame Jesus. I mean, Jesus for that. If it's Jesus that's talking, then we know it's true.
Then we know it's true, yeah. But hey, it gets easier. We got the LA Rams on Monday Night Football prime time.
Yeah, no problem.
The
Rams, be a walk in the park.
The Rams lost at home to the Titans without Derrick Henry. Anything is possible. The Jags lost to the Jags beat the Bills. The Raiders lost to the Giants. I mean, hey, anything is possible.
Just like Kevin Garnett said.
Yeah, exactly. Tim, welcome to Jay and the Bay. What's good? He says he's a Cardinal fan here. He says, I would give your head coach one more year, change some coordinators for sure. Our head coach is on his 3rd year. People wanted him gone last year. Hey, I appreciate your perspective, man.
Definitely.
Roberto, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, Roberto. Let's see. Niner Sickness says round 2 and 3 picks were inactive in this game. What the hell, brother? Play the young kids. Now, we got to get to this topic because I don't recall the Niners having so many draft picks just not contribute. And especially, it's not because they're hurt. It's just they're just not active. They're basically healthy scratches. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Can you explain to me, 49ers First Takes, why we are having so many inactive players?
Kyle had a soundbite today where he said that those guys were drafted to be depth and they were not drafted to be starters, which you trade up into the 3rd round for a guy that's going to be inactive, or you draft 2 corners that you didn't foresee playing starting roles this year, yet your defensive backfield is depleted and you rather go with has-beens and guys that are past their prime instead of young kids who have fresh legs and, haven't been completely destroyed morally or emotionally and whatever by the game. The Niners are almost, sorry, my eyes bother me. The Niners are almost, Kyle Shanahan almost gives me the impression that like he thinks that this team is still like the 2019 team. Like, yeah, we just got to get a little depth here behind these guys and we'll be okay. And it's like, dude, we don't have that luxury. This is not the same team. This team is lacking. The defensive backfield is one of our weaknesses. You know what I mean? Offensive line is one of our weaknesses. And yet we're going with guys that shouldn't even be playing or in the league. Like Brunskill and I'm trying to think who else was it? Oh my Lord, is he bad? People I said, yeah, Niner Sickness made a good point. He's like, y'all wanted Mcglinchey gone, and now you're gonna have to live with what's next. He's right.
Hopefully, yeah, more.
They have players to put in those positions, and yet they go with veterans who aren't any good anymore. It just doesn't make any sense. It comes off as a coach whose ego is getting in the way of his common sense. But until Kyle realizes that, we're pretty much at his mercy,
Yeah, no, I would agree. Shout out to Blue True for that $5 super sticker. I appreciate that, Blue True.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you, and I hope you are enjoying the stream. And I think we were sold. We thought we were going to the dealership to buy the used dealership. We thought we were going to the used dealership to buy a nice car. The salesman said, hey, this car is good. It's low mileage, no major accidents, nothing like that. And unfortunately, we leave the dealership with the used car and it's a lemon. And I think that's what we were sold. That's a nice shirt, by the way. That's what we were sold by the Niners, and I believed it. I could understand the draft picks if we expected Jason Verrett to stay healthy, Emmanuel Mosley to stay healthy, K'Wan Williams, Tart Ward. If those guys stayed healthy the entire year, which obviously is not going to happen, I think every one of those guys I mentioned has been hurt at one point or another this season. If they were healthy the whole year, then yeah, okay, Lenore, Thomas, you can sit. Okay, I understand that. Aaron Banks, he should be playing. I mean, Brunskill, he's just getting pushed like a sled every game, every time.
So bad.
Every time Jimmy, and I have to laugh to keep from crying, but every time Jimmy gets pressure, it's on the right side. It's either Mcglinchey or it's Brunskill. So I don't understand why not have Aaron Banks in there. I know, and that was some news I wanted to get into. Let me put that up on there. So Mike Mcglinchey, I heard this morning, Mike McGlinchey's got a torn quad. He's out for the season. He left the game yesterday. So unfortunately, his season is done. Hopefully that's an opportunity for Jalen Moore to play. Also, Tavon Wilson, he'll be out multiple weeks. Mohamed Sanu will be out multiple weeks. I'm not sure who, I guess Tony Jefferson will be beside Hufanga, I guess. And then at the receiver, maybe Trent Sherfield or Travis Benjamin. But hopefully in the next coming weeks, more of the young talent plays. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, Kyle doesn't have much of a choice at this point, does he? I mean, he's going to have to play some of the young guys. It's funny. I don't know if I talked to you or who was it I talked to. We were talking about how the Niners they have so much defensive line depth, and man, they got a lot of safeties this year. And I'm thinking they're going to end up using all of them because the Niners, I've like I said, he can be controversial sometimes, but Grant Cohn made a good point at the Niners. John Lynch and really put his eggs in the basket of guys that are always hurt, and you get what you pay for in that sense. Like the Verrett situation or safeties, they're hurt all the time. There's a physical style that these guys play with, and they're just not, they don't hold up. And so to me, that kind of situation that's on John Lynch because, the Niners have opportunities to move on from guys and then said they in good faith, they restructure or they re-sign guys, and they're kind of paying the price for it now. But like you said, now Kyle's not going to have much of a choice. They're going to have, you would think they would have to play, Aaron Banks or Jalen Moore or maybe Trey Sermon. I think Trey Sermon's going to stay buried unless something happens to Jeff Wilson Jr., to be honest with you, who I didn't see much yesterday, which is ridiculous.
He suited up, but I think he's number 22. He suited up, but he didn't get in the game. So, but and going back to the game, we didn't run the ball. I guess
it was 11 carries.
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow.
And I know we got down early, but I still think you got to run the ball. I mean,
that's what you do best.
Exactly. So why go away from that? And it's funny, Jimmy. He played well. There's going to be high throws. This is who Jimmy is. He's just going to throw the ball high. That's just, for whatever reason, mechanics, whatever it is. Is it the calf issue? I have no idea. But
I think he has a lazy delivery. I think he's mechanics. He gets lazy in his mechanics.
Yeah, because he always misses high. He always throws high.
Yes. I was watching. I was watching that '89 NFC Championship game. I've been watching a lot of Montana. It was a Bill Walsh training video from 2002. It was like Montana and Craig and a couple other guys, other receivers. Montana's footwork was so good. The one thing I will say about Jimmy's got the quick release, but Jimmy's got some of the worst footwork I've ever seen in a quarterback as far as like taking his drops, setting his feet, hitching at the top of his drop and throwing. Like there's so much choppy chop all the time. And he throws really just his upper body. And I notice his mechanics a lot of times. It just looks like he's pushing the ball and not really stepping into it. And like they always seem to go up and float, and guys are always getting, upended, or every play results in like a huge collision. And it's just like, man, put the ball out in front of guys like how Joe used to do it. And like give them the opportunity to run after the catch. You're right. He played well yesterday, but man, he hospital balled freaking Sanu, man. That pissed me off. I was really mad. I went from being like, hey, Jimmy's not the reason that they're doing bad to, I hate this guy. It was like my emotions switched in like one throw.
Yeah, and his mechanics definitely aren't what they should be when he's getting pressured.
No.
And we saw against Chicago, he had a lot of time to throw against Chicago, and he looked pretty good. But this offensive line right now can't give him that pressure on a consistent basis against a pretty good defensive line. And speaking of defensive lines, we got to play the LA Rams, who got Aaron Donald, who have what's his name, Leonard Floyd. They just picked up Von Miller. So it's going to be pretty interesting how Kyle Shanahan can scheme up offensive plays against this defensive line. He's done well against Donald before, but now you got 3 playmakers on that defensive line, and that'll be interesting to see. Niner Sickness had an interesting comment. He says, John Lynch is Kyle Shanahan's puppet. We need someone to take initiative and not put the seat down every time Kyle uses the toilet.
My dad, if he was alive, would have enjoyed that metaphor or analogy. Anything that has to do with like the toilet or something. So
yeah,
that's good.
Tell me how you really feel, Niner Sickness. And he also says, for all those that hate Mike McGlinchey, get ready to see how it's going to be without him. LOL.
That's right. And I'm not the biggest McGlinchey fan, but even I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I
was disappointed when I heard the news, but I think, hey, McGlinchey's in the last year of his contract. I don't think we would have re-signed him next year. So let's put in the next best player. Hopefully that's right. Jalen Moore. Because I don't think Jalen Moore, I know he filled in for Trent Williams, but I don't think Jalen Moore is going to be playing left tackle for the 49ers anytime soon on a starting basis, as long as Trent Williams is healthy. So hopefully Jalen Moore can get valuable snaps at that right tackle position. That's what I'm hoping.
Definitely.
For. Cassidy, what's good? Thanks for tuning into the stream, Cassidy. They say we're losing to the Rams. It was Robert Saleh that outcoached Sean McVay, not Kyle Shanahan. And this next game will be call me crazy all you want. Well, I wish the best for Robert Saleh with the Jets. There's no way he's not going to pass over a head coaching job to stay with the 49ers to be the defensive coordinator. Robert Saleh had some bad games. I can remember them. I can remember fans saying, hey, we need to fire Robert Saleh. So, it just comes with the profession. 1 week you're on top. Hey, you're the best defensive coordinator in the planet. The next week, hey, you need to be fired. That's just unfortunately how it goes. But for those in the chat right now, make sure you leave a thumbs up for the stream. Make sure you subscribe. And also, if you haven't subscribed to 49ers First Takes, all his social media info is in the description of this video. Make sure you check him out. Make sure you support him. D Sizzle, what's good? He says, I'm going off Wednesday. Everybody in trouble. Okay. Let's see. And Cassidy liked your comment, 49ers First Take, calling him Mr. Glass, Kittle.
He is Mr. Glass. That's his new nickname. I don't call him Kittle no more.
Hey, he wasn't hurt yesterday. He played the whole game.
Wow.
I know
he made through a whole game.
I know, right?
I was so proud of him, Mr. Glass. Did really good on that one catch where he fumbled it away.
Yeah, that was.
I'm sorry. I was, man. Certain guys just when people have like really out there personalities and they're all over social media all the time and they're like all up in your face and then they don't perform on the field, they always get really mad. I don't know why. I'm like old school like that, I guess.
I think I appreciate your perspective being old school, but I guess I'm part of the new school, and that's just how it is. Everyone,
yeah,
well, not everyone, but
I'm curmudgeon-y. I'm like an old man.
I respect it. I respect your opinion. You're not wrong.
I bet you Tommy Huxley agrees with me. Back in my day.
Exactly. Shout out to you, Tommy Huxley. But that's a part of, if you're an athlete, you want to take advantage of everything you can. You have a brand. You want to try to make.
No, I agree with that.
So all that is all about branding, and it's unfortunate because they are spending time on that. But then if they lack in the football department, it's like, maybe you should spend more time in the football department. And that's you know that comes with the territory. Those are things that you know that's going to be asked about you if you're not performing or if you're always hurt. And Kittle, he's a workout warrior in the off season, but you know, but some of the injuries you got to blame Jimmy. You know,
You
with
got to
the
blame Jimmy, and you just got to blame the way that they play too, because
right.
he's a physical player who initiates contact a lot of times. So
Yeah, I mean, if you were the head coach, would you really go up to George Kittle and say, "Hey, we need you to play a full 18. I want you to change the way you play"?
no, because then
Yeah,
I would be neutering him, so to speak. I
yeah,
would be making him play less than what he is. So no.
yeah. I think if you're a GM, if you're John Lynch, and you know this about your player, especially Debo and Kittle, then you have to make sure you have pretty good backups because they will go down, and this offense can't miss a beat. Cassidy is giving us his opinion on the LA Rams
Oh
defensive
no!
line.
Please, I was thinking the same thing. I didn't want to admit it.
Oh man,
Yeah, we're gonna have a rough game, guys.
I would
Unless somehow
suggest
we can just run the ball all
I
day.
would suggest a lot of screen passes, short
Yes.
passes. Just get rid of the ball, Jimmy. You're not going to have time for a 4 to 5 second drop. Get rid of the ball, and don't throw to Jalen Ramsey. That's probably not a good idea because
Don't
he's a
stare
pretty
down
good corner.
anybody in the direction of Jalen Ramsey because he will pick it off,
He will. Cassidy
especially if
says,
it's Debo.
yeah, Cassidy says bad Jimmy occurs on blitzes. Watch, he struggles to feel pressure.
He does.
Hmm.
Jittery Jimmy always comes out when he plays a team that has a good pass rush. Because Jimmy a lot of times predetermines his reads instead of going through progressions. Because a lot of times when you watch the all 22, you'll see him have his eyes stuck on somebody before the snap, and you see guys wide open,
Mhm.
and he won't pull the trigger. And it's infuriating. It's like, that's like football 101 as a quarterback. You know, you go through your progressions, whatever, if it's left to right to left, whatever. And he locks in, he gets happy feet when the first read isn't there. And it's a lot of the same stuff all the time. But what are you going to do, right?
Yeah, and I think Jimmy, from what I've seen from Jimmy, he the blitz comes, and I think sometimes he does good evading the blitz. Sometimes he can
Yes.
have a 5-6 yard run, and then other times he just gets sacked. But I think that's better than throwing an interception. But he does that as well. So well, we know this is Jimmy's last year with the team, and you know a few more losses on the season. Trey Lance hopefully will be getting valuable snaps in the season because I think that's definitely the next thing that's coming. And also all the other rookies, we mentioned the rookies earlier. You know, Sermon, I just think he just doesn't fit the scheme. But why would you draft him if he doesn't? Like, don't you see how he runs in Ohio State in college? Like,
I think what their issue is they drafted Aaron Banks with a specific running style in mind for a guy like Trey Sermon, and because he's not playing, because he was supposed to be like a road grader, like an earth mover, so they could do a little bit of outside inside, and it's almost like they're connected at the hip. One's not playing, so the other's not playing. I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's probably not true at all, but
I mean, that's an interesting theory. We just don't know because Trey Sermon basically has played the first game he ever played in. He only ran the ball once. He got a concussion. The second game was probably his best game. I think that was against Seattle. And then his last game that he played, didn't play yesterday. I think it was the game prior. He had like one carry. So, with Jeff Wilson Jr. back, with Jermichael Hasty and Elijah Mitchell, clearly those are the three backs that Shanahan prefers. But it's almost like a wasted pick. I just don't understand why he's not using him. Whether it's scheme, maybe he just doesn't fit the scheme. But I just wish we should have drafted
we
another
could have
player.
drafted
Any other running back. Any other running back.
There was a corner that was available too around that pick, wasn't it?
Yeah. We could have got Sante Samuel in the second round. But we
got Aaron Banks, right?
Yeah, we traded down to get Aaron Banks. So, and then he's not playing as well. He's not, so at the time I was thinking, hey, we need a corner, but I trust their vision that, hey, we need to be stout up front, but he's not even getting on the field. And I could understand with Ambry Thomas, he didn't really play at Michigan his last year there. So there's definitely going to be a learning curve. But, you know, I mean, is it better to have Drake Kirkpatrick and Josh Norman in there right now? Or, hey, just put Ambry Thomas in and Lenore in and, you know, let them get some snaps? I think those are decisions, you know, Shanahan's going to have to make sooner than later. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
John says, I feel like our defense starts first and foremost in the trenches. If our D-line is doing well, then it helps the defense as a whole. That being said, Kinlaw's absence is definitely felt. I would agree with that. What are your thoughts on Kinlaw so far you've seen from him?
Not overly impressed, to be honest with you. He's a good fit in the run game as far as, you know, getting penetration and pressure up the middle. But for where they picked him and what they expected out of him, he's been a massive disappointment, in my opinion. But again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No.
A lot of people say I'm pessimistic. I hear it. I see it.
Nah,
I
no
pay
way.
attention. But the defensive line as a whole has been a massive disappointment this year. I think it's been Nick Bosa and a whole bunch of nothing else. Some guys have popped in here and there and been effective, but for the most part, nothing. It's just been pretty much Nick Bosa. Armstead played well yesterday. 55 is gone. We needed 55 to play this year, and he's big surprise. He's out with the back injury.
Shocking.
One of the worst trades in the history of this franchise was the trade for D Ford. In theory, it was a great trade because it was we could have both sides. We have Rush coming, and it worked in 2019 when they were on the field. But other than that, it's been pretty much the KC freaking fleeced us.
And the reason we traded for Ford is because we whiffed on Solomon Thomas. If Solomon Thomas would have basically been a Nick Bosa, we never would have traded for D Ford. But you know that mistakes like that happen. Niner sickness brings up a great point. All the screens that the Cardinals were doing were killing us. Yeah,
I have never seen that many screens in one game from one team. How do you not? That is the one thing. I'm like, how are you not adjusting to the screen passes?
Yeah,
I mean, it was every play. They were rushing upfield because the Niners run that rotten wide 9 scheme that is all about pressure, quarterback. And what it does is it exposes so much behind it. And man, that was pathetic, man. Like it was like 10 yards a pop every time they threw a screen pass. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was disappointing. I'm not sure why D'Amico Ryans didn't, adjust. I'm not sure why the defensive lineman. Hey, if the offensive lineman is letting you run in, there's probably something happening behind
blitz
you
or something.
True. That's true as well. Yeah. But yeah, and as you mentioned, when James Conner would catch the pass, he had like 10 yards open, and a few plays he just ran away from the entire defense. So, I've never seen the Niners really get torched like that in the screen game. So that was definitely disappointing. Fernando, what's good? He says Fred has been playing bad. He's not making plays and no interceptions. He's definitely not getting interceptions. But I think, it's not all Fred's fault, but I feel like you have to be stout up front in order for the linebackers to come up and make tackles. And
the defensive line protects the linebackers by eating up blocks.
Yeah. So if the defensive line isn't doing that, it makes Fred's job a lot harder. Also, he doesn't have Dre Greenlaw. Who knows when he'll be back, but he's a big missing piece from the linebacker standpoint. But there's no doubt Fred Warner, he's having a down year, and this is definitely something I did not expect this year. But we got to get better in not only in the linebacker area, but also up front. And it looks like we're probably going to have to spend another draft pick on a defensive lineman.
My God.
Hopefully, well, we don't have a first round pick, but it'll probably be, I wouldn't be surprised if we draft another defensive lineman, because with Kinlaw, can you really trust Kinlaw? I mean, at this point, no.
Now with the knee, or the guy that size, knee issues, no.
It's not going to get better.
Issues.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So, let's see. Let's go over some other slides. I don't know if this was accurate, but did anyone in the chat else hear this, or did you hear this 49ers First Takes about Trey Sermon, the running back, unfollowed the 49ers on social media. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
I was trying to see if I saw it on Twitter, but hey, you don't know if it's very true or not. But I would hate for this to be true. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan is alienating one of his rookie running backs. That's not great leadership, right? Like that's I wonder if anyone else noticed that in the chat or if that's true or not, but that was definitely something I just wanted to bring up real quick. I'm
gonna have to look that up after this live stream.
Yeah.
I love a good gossipy, juicy story.
No, exactly, man. I wanted to go into the game stats real quick.
Okay.
One thing, let me pull that up real quick. Let's see. So one thing that I noticed right off the bat was Jimmy G was sacked 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Jimmy G does not play well when he's pressured.
No, we're getting hit a lot.
Exactly. Because then he doesn't trust his offensive line. Then his mechanics are even worse than they already are when he does have a clean pocket. Of course, we look at the 11 carries that just can't have. And the Cardinals, they ran 39 times. You can believe that. 39 times. That's insane. Very, you're not going to win games like that when you can't protect the quarterback, you can't stop the run, and you're giving the other team more possessions because of turnovers. Those stats definitely tell the story of why the 49ers are struggling. And if you look at our losing streak so far, that's been the reason. The turnovers, the penalties. I think this game we actually didn't have that many penalties, only 3. So that was nice. But I
just feel the Niners be getting whipped in the trenches on both sides of the ball, and that's one of the reasons that they're doing so bad. Offensive line played horrendous. I feel like Jimmy was responsible for at least a couple of those sacks with just holding onto the ball way too long.
Yeah.
Get rid of it, man. Especially if you're in the red zone and you take a sack, that's just a no-no on so many fronts. But it's like I said, it's the defensive line is not getting pushed. They're not stopping the run. They're not getting pass rush, and the offensive line is like on or off every other week. So they say football's won in the trenches, and they're definitely right, especially this year with the Niners.
Yeah, and I thought at the beginning of the year, I thought that was where, at least on the defensive side, I thought we were strong in that area. But
me too.
We had a lot of depth. I think we had like 10 or 11 defensive tackles or defensive linemen, I should say, who made.
I knew it was going to be enough. We needed at least 15.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right about that. And of course, we knew on offensive line, we thought Alex Mack would be an upgrade. I mean, I can say at least he's been healthy. He is a veteran voice. Obviously, we re-signed Trent Williams, but Laken Tomlinson, he's been. I guess we haven't really mentioned his name, right? I mean, he's played
pretty well.
Yeah. But the right side is obviously where there be issues, and I think there will be wholesale changes on the right side of the offensive line next season. That's for sure.
One really got to get Tom Compton and Daniel Brunskill off this team.
Yeah.
Get him out of here.
I would agree with that. Jew, what's good? He agrees with you. 49ers first take. He says this team does a better job celebrating than actually making plays. If they put more time into perfecting plays and into their celebrations, then we might start winning more. Wow.
Yeah, too much dancing, too much gyrating and fist pumping after a basic tackle. Yeah. The belly rub thing got me so mad last night. Like
that's his
really,
thing. That's Armstead's thing.
Yeah, but you're down 2 scores. Like do that when you're winning.
Yeah.
Don't do that when you're losing and your team sucks and you're not doing well and you're behind and you're getting beat by a second team quarterback and a third and fourth wide receiver. Like dude, the stuff, I don't know. And the lack of hustle on one of those plays that I saw Armstead running from behind, it was just inexcusable. Just jogging leisurely after. I mean, I know you're not going to catch the guy, but at least put a little effort into it. But
yeah,
I've never been a big Armstead guy, to be honest with you. Sorry.
He's played pretty well this year.
He has.
He's been one of the better defensive linemen this year with Bosa, that's for sure. And shout out to Tommy Huxley. What's good? Tommy Huxley has entered the building. He says, we are garbage. Tell me how you really feel, Tommy. I hate to question athletes' heart or desire, but in the second half, this defense was nowhere to be found. I mean, the
Jay, they look like they quit.
Yeah. The Cardinals, what was it, like 3 or 4 plays when they got the ball in the third quarter, and they just went down the field and scored a touchdown. I was like, wow, there's no resistance whatsoever.
Nothing.
That was very, very disheartening. Let's see. I'm just going down the comment list. Let's see. Oh, Niner Sickness says, we got destroyed by McCoy. Can't wait to see what Matthew Stafford's going to do on Monday night. Oh, man. I'm looking forward to the game.
Giving me nightmares. I'm still going to watch it. I'm always good for a good train wreck, you know?
Absolutely. Cassidy says, I don't trust Kyle Shanahan. Sorry.
Can't blame you. I mean, I think we're stuck with them for at least another year, but I definitely understand.
Do you want to see Shanahan with Trey Lance at least one season? And Trey Lance be the starter the entire year? Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
Give it a chance at least. But be committed to the kid.
Absolutely. Tim, the Cardinals fan, he says, we assumed the Niners would stop the run, so we went after your secondary. The running game opened up. We had to stack the box with our injuries. Agree. Upgrade your secondary in the offseason. Absolutely. I would agree with that. Definitely. Oh, and John brings up a great point. He says Juwan Jennings or Trent Sherfield, wide receiver 3, I think. And hey, I would agree with that since Mohamed Sanu is going to be out for a few weeks. But I think Kyle Shanahan, I saw on Twitter that he said that Jalen Hurd is not expected to be back this season.
Wow. Big surprise.
I'm shocked.
Water wet. Sky is blue. Hurd is hurt. Unbelievable.
And
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Why was he? I know he's a 3rd-round pick. I know Shanahan has a hard time, and this could be his ego. He doesn't know when to cut a player loose. He doesn't know when. And what else does he need to see? Torn ACL, back surgery. He basically played in 2 preseason games in three years. Cut your losses. What else do you need to see, man? I mean,
it's over, man. He ain't playing in the NFL. His career is over. Dude is damaged goods.
Yeah.
It's over. Like, let it go. Oh, he's 6 foot. Who cares how tall he is and how big he is? He's broken physically.
Yeah.
Retire.
The best ability is availability.
That's right.
He doesn't have that. So, very unfortunate. Would I have bet that he would have came back this season? No, but it's a torn ACL. Usually it takes at least a year to recover from that. And I believe he injured that in August, but obviously everyone's body is different. Not everyone's going to be Adrian Peterson, right? But it's unfortunate that his body just can't take the rigors of the NFL, but I don't understand why the Niners keep him on the roster. I think we let go. There was a running back we had, Wayne Gallman. We didn't re-sign him, or I should say we didn't keep him on the active roster. We let him go. Wayne Gallman definitely could have been used early on in the season when we had injuries. Obviously, there are other wide receivers we could have had, and we could have at least, or you could have put, I don't understand why they didn't put Hurd on the PUP list. You could have put him on the PUP list for the first 6 weeks and judge him there. So, and see how he is. But that did not come to pass.
Definitely one of the worst picks of the regime for sure.
Yeah, but I don't know if he had injury concerns coming out of college.
He did. Okay. I don't know if he had. I know he had some concussion issues. That's why they switched him to wide receiver. I don't know if there was any other stuff, but I know there was some concerns with concussions. He took a lot of abuse at running back. Well, he's 6'4", almost 6'5". I mean, what the heck are you at running back for?
Yeah, why is he at running back? Yeah. So that's weird. But shout out to Payo Time. He's an LA Rams YouTuber. He just reached 1,000 subscribers, man. Congratulations. Welcome to the club, man. Yeah.
Welcome to the 1K club.
Exactly, man.
Get to get monetized, my man.
Absolutely. Shout out to you.
Make a little bread off of YouTube.
Exactly, man. Let's see. I'm just rolling down the comments. Let's see. Looks like Tommy's giving us his score prediction for the Monday night game. Oh, man. I would go through my banners. I just want to make sure I asked you everything I had on tap. I think that might have been it. We have reached an hour. You have a few more minutes?
Yeah, I got a couple more minutes. I wish I would have grabbed a drink before I did this, man. I'm freaking parched.
If you want, like you can grab a drink.
No, it's fine.
You good?
Okay. I'm good. I'll wait.
So let's see. I'm going to ask the chat a question. I'm going to ask them, do they think Shanahan deserves to be fired? Do you want to go in a different direction? If you're still in the chat, let me know what you think about that. Obviously, I think we should keep him at least one more year. I want to see him work with Trey Lance because also I think we need to lessen his responsibility going forward next year. That's for sure.
Take power away from him.
Yeah. Niner Sixer says, thank God Tavon Wilson will miss due to injury. He played like crap on Sunday. He was getting burnt left and right. He looked lost out there on the field. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked pretty bad. He got turned around on one play, man. He was, oh my God. He did like some weird like shuffle thing. I was like, oh my goodness. He just he was there. I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was like a slant or somebody ran across him. And he did this like weird, like his arms are out like this, like he didn't know what to do. I'm just like, man, that's rough.
Yeah, well, there's a drop off from starting safeties to backups, and that's something we do have to remember. That hey, Ward and Tart were out. There's going to be some drop off, and I think that's kind of expected. But I got to ask you, 49ers first takes. Where do the 49ers go from here? As far as the rest of the season, is it time to start Trey Lance next week? I mean, I don't know if we should start him against the LA Rams.
I was going to say, if we lose to the Rams, I think the Trey Lance era has to begin the following week. I really do. Why not?
Yeah.
A lot of people are against it. A lot of people think he should sit the whole year, but this isn't a year that we have that luxury because we, for all intents and purposes, don't look like a winning team this year. So if we're going to have a losing season, I hate to do that to a rookie and just throw him into a dumpster fire, but there's still players around him. I mean, he still has Debo. He still has Kittle as of now. Excuse me, Mr. Glass. And he has Brandon Ayuk and, Elijah Mitchell. So, maybe they'll develop a nice young nucleus with this young quarterback. And then going into next season, we'll be like super excited because we'll be like, wow, we got this guy at receiver, this guy at tight end running back, and we got this dynamic quarterback. Give us something to be excited about going into next year. Give me something to be excited about so I'm not a miserable jerk again next year because I've been pretty miserable this year.
That's pretty
People
good.
unsub for my channel, they say, because I'm too mean or I'm too negative, which is whatever.
You got to be authentic. You got to be true to yourself. I appreciate your perspective. You are a pessimist, but you see it for what it is. I try to look at the positive.
Yes, you do. You and Rob Shue are definitely of the positive mindset.
Yeah.
But like you said, I'm trying to be authentic. If I was to say that I'm super enthusiastic about the Rams game, I'd be lying to you. I feel like we're going to get our butts whooped, but I could be wrong, and I want to be wrong. So you don't understand. I'm negative, but I want to be wrong.
Yeah.
I want to be proven wrong all the time, and I want someone to come into my comment section and be like, you're a fraud. You're a jerk. We won, whatever. I want to hear, I want the smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
unfortunately, I haven't gotten the smoke this year because I've been right. So I don't want to be right. But if we play like trash and we look like trash and we look disengaged and like we're sleepwalking through a game, I'm not going to come on in my live stream and be like, wow, well, we gave our best effort, but it just wasn't good enough. The Rams are a better team or what? No, I'm going to be like, dude, you played like trash. You played like trash. You need to sit down. You need to be fired. That's just me. But I'm almost 42 years old. I've been a Niners fan since I was 9. So I've seen a lot of football. So I've kind of developed a little bit of like an expectation. So
Absolutely. No,
and if my nephew was on my YouTube channel, he would have been he's the same way as me. Exactly the same way.
And it's important, as I said before, I'm gonna say it again: be true to yourself, be authentic.
Right.
And I think that's the best way to do it. I'm gonna leave you with this. 2 more. Here's the list of the next 49ers home games. So we have Monday night against the Rams. We have the Vikings at home, and that's the week of Thanksgiving. And we also have the Falcons in December, and we have the Texans. Do the 49ers win a home game this year?
Yes, we beat the Texans.
Okay.
Thank you, Niner Sickness. He said I'm preaching. I'm speaking truth. I got one person on my side.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to play the schedule game now because the Niners are so inconsistent, but you got to think, the Vikings, they're very talented, but they always, for whatever reason, they don't put it all together. And then the Texans, they're terrible.
And dude, if we lose to the Texans, someone needs to get fired after that game.
After the game, immediately. Yeah.
Like walk out of the building, take away their key card, and get out of here.
Yeah, if Shanahan loses to the Texans, man, that's pretty. I can't imagine.
They all said they should fire Shanahan and rehire Chip Kelly.
Oh wow, that's rock bottom right there. That's rock bottom. But I got to give a shout out to the Cardinal Rule, excellent Cardinals content creator, and David.
I have to check him out.
Yeah, check him out. He's very good. And also David Renteria. They are Cardinals fans. You guys were the better team. I can say that comfortably. You guys just were the better team.
Smacked us in the mouth.
Yeah, you guys earned it. Shout out to Luke Luna with the $5 super chat. Let me pull that up real quick. Let's see.
I saw your comment the other day, Luke. You're right. Jimmy played good. It wasn't on Jimmy.
Wasn't on
damn Jimmy. Right.
Jimmy played well. Even if he plays semi-bad, he plays. If they had plans to redshirt Trey, tell me why they would all of a sudden change that. Because I think it's important to get Trey snaps.
If Jimmy's not going to be here next year and he's going to go bye-bye, what's the point of keeping the kid on ice? I would love to see what he can do over an extended period of games. If he's going to play bad here and there. He's going to make mistakes. He's raw as hell, but he also has some stuff that he can do that's nice too. So I understand Luke's point about if they were going to redshirt him all year to keep redshirting him. But if we lose the next 2-3 games in a row, it's like, all right, dude, it's over.
Yeah, we don't want Jimmy to get hurt and then all of a sudden his contract is guaranteed for next year. We definitely
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I don't know if that is a clause in his contract, but I have seen where some players, hey, if you get hurt, then your contract is guaranteed for the next year. We don't want to get in that situation. And just like with the other positions, Trey Lance needs to get some time. If we continue to lose games, Aaron Banks, Trey Sermon, Ambry Thomas, Demo Lenore, you might as well let them all get snaps if the playoff season is basically over. Luke Luna also says one has nothing to do with the other. A plan's a plan.
Luke, I love you, man. I just agree to disagree.
Exactly.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
I have no ill will against anybody or about anything or any opinion. I just want us to win.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted this year. If Jimmy would have been the starter all year and we would have won, I wouldn't have cared. But if the kid comes in at some point and he plays well, then it's like, hey, we have something to be excited about. But I understand both viewpoints,
David says getting snaps isn't going to teach Trey how to learn defenses. why not let him learn how to read defenses so he doesn't go out there and run for his life and get hurt? I think we can't worry about him getting hurt. He's a professional athlete. We traded 3 draft picks up to get him. He needs to go out there and play. I think there's 2 types to learn. You either you learn in the classroom or you learn from experience being on the field. And at this point, if the season's over, there's no way for us to make the playoffs. So yeah, I think you put Trey in. And as you know, 49ers first take mentioned, we do still have weapons on this team. But I
we
think
do.
the game plan needs to be different, though. Running Trey
You
Lance
have to play to
15
his
times.
strengths.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Just like we did with Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Say what you want about Kaepernick, but when he came in, he was fire. Why? Because we adjusted our play calling to his strengths.
Agreed. And David Yang says Trey's issue is not skills. His issues is not knowing where to go with the ball.
That is fair. That is fair.
That is
Trey
fair.
is definitely, you could tell that the game is fast for Trey.
Right. And that's how it is for most rookies, but it's going to be fast for him next year too, right?
Right. I mean, and then we're going to be in the same boat.
Going to be in the same boat. We're going to be in the same situation. Oh, it's going to be another lost year. Then Shanahan's going to get fired. You know,
you can't sell another lost year to a bunch of season ticket holders and say, well, in 2 years, when Trey's finally ready, the people are going to tell you to freaking eat crap and they're not going to pay for season tickets. Like, it's, man, see, the Niners did this to themselves, man. They just would have had a good year this year. We wouldn't be having this conversation, you know?
Yeah, no, I would agree. It's just definitely not the season that I anticipated. I'm sure most 49ers fans did not anticipate this type of season we're having. But you know, we'll see how we do against the Rams. It'd be interesting to see if this team comes out with effort, with fire. If they don't, you know, that's an indictment on Shanahan, right? You know,
it is an indictment.
We would have to say, has he lost the team? If you lose the team, it's kind of hard to bring him back. You know, so. You know, we'll see.
Well, if you start hearing some chirping and leaks and stuff, then you know something might be going awry.
This is team like Harbaugh last year.
Yep, he was lame duck that whole year. That was such an tell me that wasn't the most uncomfortable year ever.
Yeah,
like the stadium opening where he was in his black shirt or his black sweater and the khakis. I was so like, oh my
god. Oh man. But it's been a pleasure having you on. This hour has gone by like that. I love having you on 49ers First Takes because we agree on certain things and we disagree on others, but it's good to have a mixture of both. And for those that don't know 49ers First Takes and what they can expect from your channel, the floor is yours. Let the people know.
Pretty much what you get here. I'm a pretty honest guy. Some say I'm pessimistic, but I'm authentic as far as I speak what I feel instead of what I think people need to hear. So people don't always agree with me and people might unsub or dislike videos, and that's fine. That's totally okay. That's the whole part of making content. I do a lot of this kind of stuff. I like to do collaborative actually more than I like to do solo stuff because I feel like collaborative, we fill the time and it's easier to bounce stuff off each other, where when you're alone, you have to think up of a lot of stuff to cover in order for an hour and 10 minutes to be filled up. Otherwise, you're just going to be doing a lot of and ah, which I've done a lot sometimes in some videos because I've been tired. But I do a lot of, breaking news. Sometimes I don't get to it all because of my job, but we have other guys out there like Jay and CG and 49ers Alternate Report and Rob Shue. I mean, there's so many of them. So there's so many awesome Niners content creators out there, and they're all super nice. Everybody is pretty open to collaborating. I think the collaborating thing is great because it gets different perspectives and it's entertaining because you got some people in the chat that side with me. They have some people in the chat that side with you. Then there's just people in here that just want to make some noise. So it's all good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all good. It's been a pleasure. And make sure you check out 49ers First Takes. All his social media info is in the link of the description of this video. And I'm looking forward to the game, and I'm looking forward to what other news comes out from the 49ers this week. And you have a great rest of your night, 49ers First Takes, and thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
All right, Jay, you take care, and everybody in the chat, everybody have a good night, and go Niners.
Go Niners. All right, so that was 49ers first takes. Make sure you guys check him out on social media. I'm gonna read the rest of these comments. John says, I think we keep Jimmy G in until we lose 1 to 2 more games. Get Jimmy stock up and then hand the reins over to Lance for experience. Jimmy has played, I think he's played pretty well the last 2 games. But unfortunately, it hasn't really contributed to the team's success, at least in the last game, of course. You know, turning over the ball is just something you can't do, especially to a team that's better than you. And unfortunately, the turnovers, we just couldn't overcome that. Let's see. David says, I hate this wide 9 defense. It should be only used during pass rush downs and not every down. The gaps this line opens up just doesn't make sense. That is a very good point because we have struggled a lot against teams that love to run the ball. You know, Exhibit A against the Arizona Cardinals yesterday. They were just running the ball, down our throat. They had over 39 rushing attempts. Like that's crazy. We can't do anything on defense if we can't stop the run. That's got to be like the first priority. So that'd be interesting to see. Will D'Amico Ryans make changes to the wide 9, or maybe do at least on the earlier downs? Don't play a wide 9 defense. Maybe play a defense that's better at stopping the run. I think that would be something that the Niners and D'Amico Ryans should definitely look at. David Renteria says, what happened to 49ers fans? Are they still hiding? I didn't know there were so many Arizona Cardinals fans. Man, I put out a video and I saw these Arizona Cardinals fans in the comment section. I didn't know it was that many of y'all. I guess there really is a Red Sea, I guess, man. Luke Luna says the defense is trash, and with Jimmy playing good or even just semi-bad, they had plans to redshirt. Tell me, why would that change? Because I think it's important to give Trey Lance snaps. There's no need to continue putting Jimmy out there for what I don't think a team was going to trade for him in the offseason. At the beginning of the year, in a perfect situation, perfect scenario, Jimmy G would play a great year this season, similar to 2019. We would go to the playoffs and a team would trade for him in the offseason. I just don't see a team trading for Jimmy G. Does anyone in the chats think a team's going to trade for Jimmy G? And a big part of the reason I don't think they'll trade for him is his massive contract. He's got 1 year left after this season, and I think it's for like at least $25 million. I don't think a team is going to trade for that type of contract. I think I see a super chat. Shout out to Blue True 549 super chat. I appreciate that. Blue True says great stream, and at Jay and the Bay go Niners. Absolutely. I appreciate that. Let's continue on with these comments. Let's see. David says, remember when the 49ers were supposed to be a Super Bowl team? LMAO, pretenders. Well, the Cardinals have yet to win a Super Bowl. So when y'all win a Super Bowl, come holla at the faithful, the Niner Empire. Come holla at us then, David, because unfortunately, yesterday we made Colt McCoy look like Kurt Warner back there, man. That was just ridiculous. That was he looked pretty comfortable back there. And the Cardinals, got to give credit to Cliff Kingsbury. They had a great offensive game plan and they executed their plays, man, and they didn't turn the ball over. So y'all were the better team yesterday. David says Shanny and Lynch ain't going to admit they messed up taking Hurd. That's the only reason why he's on the team. I would agree with that. And we talked about that with First Takes when he was here, that they don't know when to let go of a player. Jalen Hurd, he's been on the team 3 years. He's played 2 preseason games. He's had a torn ACL, back injury. And unfortunately, his body just can't keep up with the rigors of, playing in an NFL season. It's very unfortunate. It sucks for Jalen Hurd, but there's no reason why he should be on the roster. I know he was a 3rd-round pick, but what else does Kyle Shanahan need to see? I don't know. Drew says if we lose against the Rams, we might as well start all our rookies for the rest of the season. I would agree with that. Trey, Aaron Banks, Lenore, Ambry Thomas, hopefully Jalen Moore, the tackle we drafted this year. Hopefully he gets some reps at the right tackle spot since Mcglinchey is out for the rest of the season. And yeah, I think those are the rookies that should play. Trey Sermon, I think he should get in, but it seems like he's at the back of the depth chart for whatever reason. So David Yang says, I'm glad Sanu is out because that opens the door for Sherfield to get more snaps. Sherfield is much more explosive. I would agree with that. I know Sherfield is more explosive. I don't wish injury on any of our players, but there's reasons Sanu was in there. Sanu did make some good catches, but there's no doubt Sherfield has a more upside. I would say at this point he is more explosive. But Sanu, he's a solid player, and also he's one of Shanahan's guys, man. Let's see. Niners Sickness says 49ers first take. Preach it, brother. You are speaking the truth. Yes, he was. Let's see. Payout Time says, I think they should fire him and rehire Chip. That's definitely not going to happen. Tommy says, I wouldn't even go check out a Cardinal channel. They haven't been irrelevant for years. No rings. Hey, that's very true, man. That's very true, Tommy. Niner Sickness says, everyone to learn how to drive got better after getting behind the wheel. You can only learn so much from the books. I agree with that. You got to get firsthand experience. I think in a perfect scenario, you would want to have a rookie quarterback sit, especially if they have a veteran quarterback who's won games before. I think you would in an ideal situation, you want that to happen. But if that quarterback is not elevating the team, we are not winning games, we're no longer in the playoff contention, then you might as well put Trey in. He needs to get some snaps. I don't see why that would hurt at this point. And cater the game to him, shorten the playbook, make it easier, whatever you have to do. But I think you would have to get him some valuable snaps. Let's see. I think I have a super chat. Shout out to KD. What's good? Thanks for that super chat. I appreciate that donation, KD. He says, do you think the personal foul on Eric Armstead? Man, that was a tough call. I think by the letter of the law, yeah, that was a penalty, I guess. But it was tough because that would have ended the drive. I think the Cardinals would have either punted the ball or maybe kicked a field goal. And eventually that's what happened. But yeah, that was tough on Armstead because he's just trying to get the quarterback down. But you can't touch the quarterback around the head. And Colt McCoy did a great job of selling that action to the ref, and hey, the ref bought it. But that was a tough call. But that play really shouldn't have happened. Because earlier on in that drive, it was a 3rd and 18. Colt McCoy threw the ball to James Conner. Shahir missed the tackle, and Conner ended up picking up 18, 19 yards and getting a first down. So if Shahir would have made the tackle, the Cardinals would have punted the ball, and the Niners would have had, another opportunity with the ball. So the play shouldn't have happened, but unfortunately, yeah, that was a personal foul on Armstead. Let's see. David says we should have just cut bait with Jimmy if we had gone all in with Trey. That's what we should have done. Yeah, at this point, looking back at it, 50-50 hindsight, we should have gone all in with Trey. We should have got rid of Jimmy in the offseason, maybe trade and try to get some draft capital for Jimmy. But Shanahan and Lynch thought this was a Super Bowl team. Point blank. Shanahan and Lynch thought this was a Super Bowl team. That's why we signed so many guys to 1-year contracts. You guys know that, Jaquiski Tart, K'Wan Williams we brought back, Jason Verrett we brought back. We brought in a lot of veterans on the defensive line, Arden Key, Maurice Hurst, Zach Kerr. Like, we brought in a lot of guys on 1-year contracts because, we thought if we would have stayed healthy, Jimmy G would have had a repeat 2019 year that we could go to the playoffs and possibly a Super Bowl. But, unfortunately that didn't happen. Greenlaw hurt, Verrett hurt, Tart and Ward are hurt. Mosley was hurt. Ayuk has been hurt. Kittle was hurt. So it's just been Mike Mcglinchey is hurt. So there's just been injuries on both sides of the ball. And unfortunately, this has been one of the worst teams this year, especially with just protecting the ball. Just too many turnovers. It's been penalties. It's just been very undisciplined football. And even if Trey was here if the same things would have happened, I don't think this team would be that much better. If you're telling me the same injuries would have happened, the same undisciplined play, I don't think the team would be much better. But at least Trey would get valuable snaps, so that is important too. Let's see. David says 49ers having a good year. They're frauds. Everyone expected to be a Super Bowl team and win the division. They're not even close to winning that division. Hey, man, you are very, very true with that. That's a true statement. I can't argue with that. Payo Time says, Jay, I politely disagree that the Niners are out of the playoffs. Falcons are currently the 7th seed with 4 wins. The Niners could get hot. They could get the wild card still. 17th game changes the math. I was saying if we lose to the Rams next week, and we have yet to win a game at home. If we lose the next 1 to 2 games, I think it might be time to start playing some rookies because we don't know which 49er team is going to show up on Sunday. Against the Bears, we were okay in the first half. We played better in the second half. And every other game before that and yesterday, it's just been, a turnover, field game, can't stop the run, losing the time of possession. So it's like how can I really think? I know the math is there, Pale, but how can I really think or be confident that this team is going to make the playoffs? Like, I don't know which team I'm gonna get. David says, I just want Shannon to have the faith in Trey throwing the ball, and Shannon doesn't yet. And it's funny because Shanahan sees Trey Lance in practice every day. He sees Jimmy G in practice every day. He clearly feels that Jimmy G still gives his team the best chance to win. Jimmy G played pretty well. If I had to give him a performance, Jimmy G, he's just going to be inaccurate. He throws high. That's just what we expect from Jimmy. But he definitely did not prevent us from winning the game. He had a solid game. That's what I would say. But how do you get better at throwing the ball? Well, you got to throw it. Allow Trey to be in game situations. Let him throw to receivers, and give him a similar game plan that you gave to Jimmy. I don't think it's good to run Trey Lance, more than 10 times. He ran 16 times. I know all those weren't designed runs, but I think we definitely would need a different game plan or use a similar game plan that you use with Jimmy with Trey, I think. Yeah, you told me, David. You told me. Niner Secret says, hey, I feel left out. You guys need to invite me on your show next time. Don't forget about the Mexican guy. Absolutely, Niner Secret. We definitely have to collab again, man. Absolutely. Let's see. Luke Luna says Trey struggles won't be the same next year because he will know more and recognize more, so he will actually learn with the snaps he gets instead of failing to realize what's going on. Like Niner Signer said, you can learn in the classroom and you can learn with experience. Obviously, both are beneficial, but he's learning in the classroom. He's been in the NFL system since he's been drafted. I think it's time that he get experience on the field if we continue to lose. I just think, why not? Because I want him to get his struggles out now and not for next year. We can't have another lost season next year because Trey's not prepared. Luke says all snaps aren't created equal and learning processes aren't either if you're not ready. It's funny. I hear this create plays for Trey when our guys are struggling inside the regular offense. We're gonna have to agree to disagree, Luke. I know you want to ride with Jimmy the rest of the year. I would be down with that if we were winning. But right now, hey, we're 3 wins, 5 losses. It's just not cutting it. And I just don't see the downside of putting in Trey. Yes, he's going to struggle, but that's how you get better. You got to get better. KD says, I don't think it was a personal foul. He didn't touch him in the face mask. We should be able to challenge them calls. Now, that is a good idea. We should be able to challenge those penalties because that's a 15-yard penalty. That was an automatic first down. On the replay, they did show he grabbed. I think you can't. It's not the face mask. It's you can't grab any part of the helmet when you're sacking the quarterback and he's in the pocket. And that's what Colt McCoy was. He was in the pocket. You can't hit a quarterback in their head. Eric Armstead did hit him a little bit, but that was Eric Armstead was just trying to get the quarterback down. It sucks, and obviously Kyle Shanahan, as you saw his reaction, he definitely didn't agree with the call. But that's the rule, unfortunately. That's the rule. You can't hit a quarterback in the head. Luke says Trey sees more and can recognize more from the sidelines. You guys, it's not about a successful season or trade plays type of thing. Jimmy is here, so Trey can sit all year, period, or he wouldn't be here. Hey, man, I respect your opinion. But if this team is 3-12 or whatever, or let's say they're 3-10, 3-9, you still want Jimmy G to go out there for what? I mean, I just don't get it. So what do you think about the rookies, Luke? What do you think about the rookies? Do you think Demo Lenore, Ambry Thomas should be getting snaps at the cornerback position? Or would you rather stick with, Drake Kirkpatrick, Josh Norman, Dante Johnson? What do you think about those? Because I think it's a similar situation. The Cardinal Rule says, that's interesting, Jay. The Cards have yet to lose a game on the road. The Cardinals are looking good. I was definitely surprised by the outcome, as you know. But you guys were the better team. There's no doubt about that. And it'll be interesting to see what the Cardinals do because they have started off well. They started off well last year. Kyler got hurt, and the team kind of went downhill. So we'll see what the Cardinals can do. But they're definitely, playing at a very, very high level. That's for sure. Tommy says, that is interesting. The Cardinals have yet to win a Super Bowl. That is correct. Tommy says Niners aren't going after OBJ. At this point, I would be surprised, but I wouldn't mind it at all. Luke Luna says, I'm just trying to get you to see it how the team sees it. They don't want trade to start this year without injury. That's the plan and has nothing to do with winning. Now, that's an interesting point because Kyle Shanahan did say, and who knows if he's telling the truth or not, but Kyle Shanahan did say that he was looking forward to Trey getting more snaps, and he thought he could become the starter this year, but then he got hurt. Now, Shanahan did say that. Take that with a grain of salt, but he did say that in one of his press conferences. But, who knows if he's telling the truth or not, but I just don't see I just don't see how it makes sense to keep Jimmy in because who cares about the money this year? Who cares? But I just don't see the point of if we're not making the playoffs, if we're not in playoff contention, why keep Jimmy in when you have a rookie quarterback who needs snaps? I would say at the beginning of the season, I agree. Trey should sit the whole year if we were, contending playoff team because Jimmy has the experience. He's taken this team. He was a part of this team going to the Super Bowl. Like he's had multiple. Look at his quarterback record. He's had a lot of wins on his record, but this team is losing multiple games, and especially if Jimmy G struggles. And we know it's only a matter of time. Unfortunately, we know Jimmy G will struggle. We know Jimmy G will turn over the ball. I just think it would be a disservice to trade and not put him in. Hey, I still want the 49ers to run the ball effectively, use our running backs. We still have weapons, but I'm reacting to new information, and the new information is that we are a struggling team right now, and it doesn't make sense to keep Jimmy in there if we're not going to be in contention for the playoffs. That's just how I feel. I know you feel differently, Luke, and I appreciate your perspective, but we'll just have to agree to disagree. Fable JVC, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, man. Let's see. Kimbo, what's good? He says, let's go, 49ers fan for life. Absolutely. Let's see. Corey Davis says he didn't hit him in the head. It was around the shoulder neck area. I would say I would have to look at the replay again, but if I can recall, he kind of put his hand over his face mask. It didn't touch it, but he kind of hit like the back of the helmet. Basically, there was contact to Colt McCoy's helmet, and Colt McCoy, sold it off like James Harden trying to sell off a foul on a 3-point shot. Like Colt McCoy did a good job in selling that off, but there was contact to the head. They showed it on the replay. But Armstead, I don't fault Armstead. That was just a hell of a play to try to get a quarterback down. And Armstead has been playing really well this year. David says, I feel like the refs want our team to earn a foul. Mostly finally got a holding call, but there were so many more missed. Samson Ibuku was being held all day without any calls. Yeah, I mean, you could literally call a holding penalty on every play if you really wanted to. I think what hurt us in this game and all year is this undisciplined football. Last year we did, or this past game, we did pretty well as far as penalties. Only had 3 penalties, but just the turnovers. Kittle and Ayuk fumbling the ball. Two of your best playmakers, they just can't do that. And we're not a team right now that can overcome that. We pretty much have to play a damn near perfect game. We cannot beat ourselves. We got to be able to convert on third down, hold on to the ball, score in the red zone, and we just can't overcome those issues. Arizona was the better team yesterday. They held on to the ball. They were able to run the ball. They ran the ball 39 times. Like, you're just not going to win the game. They won the time of possession by, I think at least 5 to 10 minutes. You're just not going to win games like that. Joe, what's good? Thanks for tuning in to the stream, man. Thank you, Tommy Huxley, for tuning in to the stream, man. You have a good night. David says once Dre Greenlaw gets back to the team, should be better against the run. Dre is a tackling machine. I would agree with that. I wonder when he's coming back. The Cardinal Rule says, true talk here. From my perspective, the 49ers need to bring in a new GM, keep Shanahan, and try to build with him and Lance. It seems like the issue is personnel, not coach. Shanahan does have control over the 53-man active roster, I believe. I think we should keep Shanahan. I'm willing to bring back Lynch. And I think Shanahan should let go of his personnel duties. That's what I think. I think he should just focus on coaching, designing plays, calling plays. That's fine. I think Shanahan also needs another coach in his ear in regards to clock management, when to go for 2-point conversions, things like that. I think Shanahan just has a lot on his plate, and he's struggling right now. So let's make his job a little bit easier, take some responsibility off of him, because he is an excellent offensive coordinator. He's struggling obviously this year, but let's be real, the entire team is struggling. So he could call the best plays in the world, but if Brunskill, is getting pushed back like a sled, on the football field, or if Ayuk drops the ball, Debo drops the ball, or whatever, or Jimmy throws high, then the play calling don't matter. Execution has been poor, that's for sure. And Shanahan deserves blame for that, but players deserve blame for that as well. Double L. I don't want Jimmy to continue to play at this point. Oh, okay. I'm just saying if they wanted him to learn the hard way before he's ready, they would have done that, got a backup, and ran that plan. I think because Shanahan and Lynch thought this team, playoff bound, possibly Super Bowl. I thought that too, with all the moves we made, the weapons we had on the field, but we're not executing right now. And plans change. You could have a plan to do this, and that on Monday, and your plans could change that same day or Tuesday or whatever. You got to react to new information, and you can't just, if it doesn't make sense, you can't just have the same plan. You got to change. But I agree. A lot of 49er fans, the 49ers front office, coaching staff thought, hey, we could run this thing back. We got Jason Verrett coming back. We re-signed Trent Williams, the big silver back. Debo is back. Ayuk, Kittle, Jimmy G's back. Hopefully he can have another 2019 year. The defense, we added depth on the defensive line. Fred Warner's coming back. He just got paid. But, the players aren't playing to their potential. Coaches have to coach better. And at this point, yeah, I agree, Luke. It doesn't make sense for Jimmy to continue to play if we lose the next few games. I don't think it makes much sense. So I think we should roll with Trey, give him some valuable snaps. Luke Luna says, in the end, I'm happy with Trey starting at any point now this year. I'll be waiting and watching either way. Yes. And I think Trey will struggle, of course. He's a rookie quarterback. And the difference between college and the pros is the speed of the game. And when you have defensive linemen trying to take your head off on every play, you only have so many seconds to process, hey, is this zone or man coverage? Who's my number one option? Who's my check down? Like, there's so many things that go with playing a quarterback. But I'm willing to put Trey out there and, hey, take your lickings now. David says we don't have that one vocal leader that can get this team focused in game, missing Uncle Sherman and Sterling. You're right about that. You are absolutely right about that. I know Fred Warner. I don't know if he's a vocal leader. I don't know. I know Uncle Sherm was when he was there. Staley definitely was, but yeah, I would agree with that. We are missing, leadership. Job says that's been the Colts' problem for years. We just beat ourselves, can't win games if you don't give yourself a chance. Exactly, and that's what's most frustrating about watching the Niners is they beat themselves, turnovers, penalties, and that's very frustrating to watch. 3 turnovers against the Cardinals. We're not good enough to win games. We are not good enough to turn the ball over that many times and win games. We just can't. Fable. Shanahan is the second biggest problem we have in the franchise. The biggest issue is Denise and Jed. I mean, the owners, they're not going to fire themselves. I mean, you know that, Fable. The owners not going to fire themselves. Their job is to put people in positions, and then those people do their jobs. But, Denise and Jed, they're not, arguing with the Cardinals head coach. They're not fumbling the ball. Have they made mistakes in the past? Absolutely. But, they own the team. They cut the checks, and they're going to put people in position to succeed. And we'll see what changes they decide to make in the offseason. Luke says, yeah, but with how shitty this team is playing, they may be too afraid to send Trey out there. Trey calling protections and running around would be a mess, but I'm with it. No, that's very true. The team has not been playing well. I think Trey, you're gonna have to get your lumps. That's just what's gonna come down to. This team continues to lose. How can the Kyle Shanahan look the 49er fan base in the face and say, no, we're gonna stick with Jimmy no matter what? Like, I just can't see that. David says, I believe our fans would turn on Trey if we don't win. That's what our fan base does. No patience. That would be very dumb. Because with Trey in, I'm not expecting necessarily. I mean, the wins don't really matter. If we're at a playoff contention, the wins don't matter. I just want to see Trey develop. That's what I want to see. And also the other rookies develop. In the secondary, and along the offensive line, I just want to see them develop. David Yang says he feels the same way as Luke. Fable's telling the Yorks to sell the team. I don't think that's going to happen. Job says, all right, man, good luck this week. Y'all have a hard matchup. Luckily, my Colts got the Jags, and the Jags just beat the Bills. So good luck in your game, Colts versus Jags, and thanks for tuning in to the stream, man. Fable says the Yorks are the ineptitude that flows down the pipes, much like a plumbing system that takes waste from the top floors down to the sewer, which metaphorically is the product on the field. Yeah, but they own the team. They're not going to sell it. They're making too much money. And in 2019, we didn't really hear much about the Yorks. Hey, everything was good. Shanahan was taking his team to the Super Bowl. I don't think Shanahan has forgot how to coach. And we were just having a bad year, but I think there will be changes in the offseason. I think Shanahan stays, but hopefully some of his responsibility gets stripped away. So that way he can just focus on what he does best, and that's designing offensive plays, calling offensive plays. That's what he does best at. But he's been struggling at that this year. Let's be real. So I think he has too much time. I think he has too much on his plate. That's what I think. And some responsibilities need to be taken away. But shout out to everyone that was in the chat tonight. You guys did an excellent job. I appreciate the back and forth. Shout out to people that left super chats. KD, Blue True, Luke Luna. Let's see. Tommy Huxley. I appreciate all the super chats. Blue True left a super sticker. I think KD left another super chat. But I appreciate everyone contributing to the intheBay YouTube channel. I love doing these live streams. I actually stayed on a little bit longer than I was expecting, but hey, I appreciate everyone coming through, giving me their opinion, their hot take on the 49ers. And shout out to everyone watching intheBay Facebook, intheBay YouTube, and intheBay Twitter. Looks like Luke Luna says because we send Trey out there and he gets his knee blown out, all the fans will be up in arms saying, coach's fault. Why would you send him out there with this O-line and this mess? This is football. Injuries are a part of the game. I don't think that's a good reason. You don't want to see Trey get hurt. I don't think that's a good reason not to put him in there. I just think, hey, he could get hurt next year. He could get hurt, walking out the car. Anything can happen. I don't think that's a good reason to not put him in the game because he could get hurt. I think he's got to get some reps. He's got to get reps, especially if we're out of playoff contention. Luke says if he gets injured and his legs are never the same, can you imagine the noise? Hey, then it was never meant to be then. It was never meant to be. That's what I would feel. You have a great night as well, KD. Fable says it's a shame that you're right. They won't sell the team. My other two favorite teams are in such better hands than the Yorks. I wish the 49ers were owned by competent people. Hey man, they're not gonna sell. Fable says, thank you for indulging me, Jay. It was fun hearing you read my rants out loud. Hey, I appreciate you coming through to the stream. I appreciate everyone's opinion, and everyone's got an opinion. We don't agree, but hey, we're respectful with each other. It's all good. And thanks for coming in. I hope to see you next time, Fable. Luke Luna says, when you sign new O-line to protect Trey instead of backups, it is what it is. Yeah. And unfortunately, Mcglinchey's out. We'll see if Tom Compton will be at that right tackle. I hope it's Jalen Moore. I think he needs to get reps, and he's looked good backing up for Trent Williams. So hopefully he can do good on the right side. But Trey needs to get reps. If we continue to lose, Trey needs to get reps, and I'm reacting to new information. But I'm going to call it a night. I had a blast tonight. Shout out to 49ers First Takes. I thank him for joining me. And if you haven't checked out 49ers First Takes, all his social media info is in the description of the video. But everyone have a good rest of your work week. And, of course, you can stay tuned in to Jay and the Bay for your latest 49ers news. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button for the stream. Make sure you like, you subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys. Let's see. Hold on. Luke Luna says next season, that is, they will be healthy. They will sign maybe guys to protect instead of the backups right now. Could be why he gets injured if it doesn't happen when he's out there. I think part of the reason he got injured last game was because, he ran the ball way too many times. And I don't know exactly what play he got injured on, but injuries are part of the game. It's, you can't really prevent that. It's a physical sport, Cardinal Rule says 100% right, Jay. You can't sit a player because you're worried they will get injured unless they are still recovering from an injury. If you can't play them, then why draft them? I completely agree. Fable says we'll be healthy for a week or two, and then the same old crap will happen. Why wouldn't it? Because we got to be optimistic, Fable. But I had a blast tonight, you guys. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. I appreciate all the support. Go Niners. I'm looking forward to the LA Rams game because they put on their pads just like we do. They put on their pants just like we do. I don't care who they have on the team. I just want to see the Niners come in, play with passion, play with heart, play with sense of urgency. And that's all we can really ask for as fans. And just put your best foot forward and, play the game that you love, play the game that you're playing as your career. So I'm looking forward to the game. It's going to be your Monday Night Football prime time. Can't wait for that game. Everyone have a good rest of your week. And thanks for watching your boy, Jay in the Bay. I'll see you guys in the next one. Go Niners.